Okay, should we start?
Yes. Yes, yes.
Okay, so today we are going to create a user registration form where user will register themselves. We will uh, we will save that data into database. Again, we will retrieve that same data and view whether all the visitors are registered successfully or not. Then we will even respond to each user by accepting or denying their request of registration. Okay, so here is the basic layout. But before going for development, let us know how this process works. What happens in the backend? Okay, the whole world of backend where the process works from client side to server side. Okay, let's start. Okay, so basically what we do is we register some kind of data in a form of a registration form where we input some kind of value, we save it. Here the process begins where PHP overtakes the next process. Now what happens is the PHP takes data from the client browser, send it using internet to the web server. How the process works? Here client register any kind of data using a UI. Then when he hits a submit button, the data goes through the internet towards the web server with the help of PHP. Here the server is where any kind of data is stored and any kind of data is retrieved. Now here the next step moves on. How the data is sent and fetched. The basic structure to send is, or the step is using a HTTP transfer protocol. What HTTP transfer protocol does is it runs a query, send the request to the server, then whatever server gives response, again it takes to the client. This process is done by HTTP protocol. So there are two type of protocols usually used. The first protocol which we were using is HTTP. HTTP stands for Hypertext Transfer Protocol. It is an application layer network protocol which which is built on top of TCP. Further, we will know what is TCP. Now, HTTP uses hypertext structured text which establishes a logical link between nodes containing text. It is also known as a stateless protocol as each command is executed separately without reference of previous run command. What is HTTPS? HTTPS stands for Hypertext Transfer Protocol Secure. Now, nowadays we never use HTTP. Okay, some kind of some kind of scenario we use HTTP, but for a secure type of transfer layer we use HTTPS. HTTPS is a latest version of HTTP. Okay, it is a upgraded version of HTTP where each data is sent securely. Now, on the right hand side diagram, we will get to know how the data is sent. Previously, we were using HTTP. Here, what the thing was happening was from the client side, for example, we were sending a password to the server the password was sent as it is in its structured form. Here, it was readable by any kind of user who knows a good who has a good technical skill and can fetch data within this process. Okay, what I mean to say is within this process is the time which takes from sending data from a client machine till the server machine is known as we can define as a time as a loop where the any kind of user who wants to fetch that data in between this time, because all the two ends have secured interface, so any kind of hacker or any kind of user cannot interrupt it, but when the data is in a process form, this layer is unsecured, so we can easily take that data. But nowadays when we use https, each data is sent or each data which is responded from the server is encrypted, so we use https protocol each time. Here I will give a basic example of http and https. Okay, so let's have a look. Okay, here is a basic example. Here is a website which is using http protocol. Okay, and here you can see in a left side corner of a url, it says as your connection to this site is not secured as it is using http protocol, not https. Okay, but in the right hand side corner here, www.google.com is using https protocol. Okay, this is secured protocol. Now you can see here it is saying as connection is secure. Now what do you mean by secured and what do you mean by unsecured? It is a certificate given to uh, any site for a particular time period. Okay, it usually expires within a year. It might be a 1 month or 2 months, anyhow. So we need to use that kind of protocols to secure our data from any kind of unauthorized access. So these were some kind of basic example. Now let's move on to our next step. We have now, what we have done in our previous step is we have sent some kind of request to the server, that was to submit that data in the server. Okay, now when we have submitted that request, what the server will do in its next step is server will check the code what it commands to the server. When it reads the code, it responds to server and it interrupt and the php interrupter came into existence. What php interpreter does is it analyzes the code, read the command and give response to the web server. Now in the next step, what web server does is it gives some kind of response to the operating system of that TCP. What is TCP? I'll just tell you in the next step. Okay. Now, for now, what TCP does is TCP takes that response, use a internet bandwidth, and send that data again to the client. Now, the response is sent for the request raised by the client. The whole process is now finished. But within this process, the next step, what we will analyze is what questions might you have came into existence is what is SSL, that we came into know that secure transfer protocol and all that. Basically, SSL was developed by Netscape in year 1994. SSL is a secure sockets layer. Okay, it was envisioned as a system that will ensure secure communication between client and server system on the web. TLS means Transport Layer Security, which is a cryptographic protocol seizure of SSL 3.0, which was released in 1994. But nowadays we can see that Komodo is also developing these SSL certificates and all that. Now we will go to our next topic, that is what is TCP IP. Okay, TCP IP is Transmission Control Protocol, or usually we say it as an internet protocol. Uh, TCP IP model is Consigns vision of OSI model. It contains 4 layers. Basically, it contains 4 layers. Unlike 7 layers of OSI model, the layer are process application layer, host to host transport layer, internet layer, and network access layer. Okay, we will move on how a PHP program runs usually. Usually, I'll just define you that PHP is used in a .php extension. Always a PHP file is saved in .php extension. In PHP, when you are going to start any kind of programming, you start with a syntax that is uh, less than symbol, question mark, then PHP, then we put on any kind of uh, where syntax that is print or anything which we want to print or which we want to run a command or anything, and we will at last we end it with question mark and greater than symbol. Here it will give you an output that hi there. Okay, so so what we get a summary is PHP runs in the web server. Always PHP runs on a web server. The server creates HTML dynamically. Getting whatsoever response we are getting using a PHP is created dynamically. It is more efficient than using CGIS. CGIS is nothing but computer generated imaginaries variable. Okay, so this was a bit of overview on which we were going to work on. Okay, now let's design a form of user registration, a basic registration form. Okay, so what we will do is simply, I have taken a card for a background. Background should be looking nice and clean and tidy. So we will start with obviously a form. Okay, a form tag. Okay. Okay, now we have opened a form. Here in that form tag, what we are going to do is, main thing which we need to do is, each form does a kind of some kind of command that is to send data from the form to the server, or any we need to print it there itself, anything. So to do that command we use is methods. Method in the sense, method is are two types, that is get method and post method. Get method is less secured as we can see the credentials in the URL. Okay, but post method does not show any kind of data in the URL, but sends our request and data where we want it to be. Okay, so now let's use that method post. And here we can use as an where you want to send that data, whether you want to send that data from this page to another page, or you want to run that same query in this page itself. So for now I'm going to run that query on this page itself. Okay, so I'll take action. sorry, ACT action, and enter nothing there because I want to run that code or submit that code in at this page only. So now what we will going to do is we will take a div class form row. Here we are going to take three input fields, or we will take four input field. First we will take name, then email, password, and we can also take as an mobile number. Okay, so let's take that four fields. So for now I'm going to take it is as labels. Label as a name, input as in text, name as a name, placeholder as an enter your name. So okay, we are good to go, and we can write as required. Okay, so it is compulsory to fill that field. Now what we will do is I forgot one div dot key. So we have four fields. We will print it four times. Okay, so I will change it to email. Next to mobile, and last but not least to what we say password. Okay, here for password we are going to use password tag. What it will do is it will secure your password field and never show you the output. Okay, password. Okay, now to submit this whole form we need a button which we will develop here as button tag, button type, submit, then action, sorry, name as an submit, and and class as an btn btn dash info. So I forgot to add such classes for input type. We need to use it. Class form form control. So we are going to print these classes in each input field. Let's try it out. What output comes? So okay, some kind of issue is there. So we will check it out. There is a card. There is a form. There is a form row, and there should be a form tab. Okay, some kind of issue is there. Let's find out. Let's find out form group. Form row. Okay, I got the issue. What's happening? Form group. I'll just take it out. Group class, view class row, form container closed. Each row is closed. Form row. Okay. So now what we are going to use is do we are missing anything on that page? Okay, something is missing. Form. Okay, let's comment this. I think so. This is the issue. In the post action. Okay. Oh, sorry. Any kind of design issue is there. What's happening? Just a minute. Yeah, it's absolutely fine. There is nothing. So, so here is button, type submit, name submit, class button, button info. Okay, fine. Okay, so we have created a simple form with a name, email, mobile, and password. And here is a button, okay, to submit that form. Now, what we I'm going to do is I am also going to add this here. Here, sorry, before that, I'm going to add. Okay, fine. So let's submit this form. But before submitting, we need to create a query. Okay. So there was some technical issue. So let's move on. Okay. For this, I'm going to use inline PHP. What we are going to do is on on click of a button, I need to run a query. So to run a query, we need to define on which event the query should run. For that, I'm defining that if statement is set dollar post, sorry, dollar underscore post single quote. On click of submit button, I need to run this query. Run in the sense, first of all, I will assign all the elements that I'm passing through the form. Okay, using this form. So the same method I'm going to use method post, and for that I'm going to assign action action that is empty. Okay, so submit has a name of submit. So in query I have posted submit. If submit is posted, then I need to run that query. So first of all, I will assign all the variables, that is dollar name equals to dollar underscore post. Then I will define that specific variable name, that is name. which we have previously defined. So we'll make it as 4 times. We will change the only variable and value, that is email. The second one is mobile, and the third one is password. Password. Okay. In this scenario, we have defined all the 4 variables which we are going to pass to the database. After assigning all the variables, we we will going to assign a query, that is dollar submit. You can put any kind of name which you want. It's not mandatory to put that submit or dollar SQL or dollar anything. So I'm inserting that. And yes, insert into database name. We are going to take it as user registration, user underscore registration, user underscore registration is values, again open close bracket. In previous bracket we will assign all the uh, table fields that we are going to use. First of all, name, comma, second one is email, comma, third one is mobile, comma, fourth one is password. In the other side we are going to assign the variables which we have assigned already, the value to the variables. Okay, we are going to assign all that variable, that is dollar name, dollar email, dollar mobile, and dollar password. How we are going to assign it is, we are going to use single quote, then the variable name, dollar name. Here we need to first of all uh, know that the name, the field which you have assigned previously, in the same format you need to assign the variable name. Okay, so if you are assigning table name, table name as an table field name as a name, then you need to assign the variable value, that is dollar name. If you are assigning email, then the email will go to the name field. So this mistake you need not to do in your in your code. Okay, so I'm assigning another variable, that is single quote dollar email. Cell, again the next one is single quote, sorry, single quote single quote mobile, sorry, dollar mobile. Just a second. Shubham, you can stop the video for now.